Oh, okay, now the recording's going.
Okay, has everybody had a chance to look at that Rev 3 of the affidavit?
Yes.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Good.
Anybody online there that hasn't looked at that affidavit yet?
It was posted up there, I believe, on Saturday or Friday. Did we post it up? No, it was Friday. So I guess you should be familiar with that, and also the file that he put up there defining the terms. What was the name of that file?
That was the enforcement of
Yes.
creditors.
Enforcement of creditors.doc, right. Yes, and you really pulled the equity into there.
Well, basically that enforcement of creditors' rights, about the first 4 items there, came out of a contract between General Motors and the Treasury Department. It's about 160-some pages in length. I just happen to have a copy of it. And but there were several key things in there about pledged equity consents and equity pledge agreements, and then fraudulent conveyances, and then electronic transmissions. Okay.
Yes.
And basically that's what they got everybody in the country, okay, in the public education system out here to recite the Pledge of Allegiance. Well, basically pull up your dictionary and look at it for what support, the word support means. Okay? And you'll find out that basically you're giving over your equity to the corporation. Okay? And there was a pledge to the wrong United States of America. It was not the Article of Confederation, the United States of America. It was the copyrighted 1871 14th Amendment corporation that was basically put into place out of England. Okay, as a incorporated corporation. And I put that document up there before about the 1871 incorporation. It's about 6 pages. And this is the same time frame that they brought in the postal monetary system into this country. Prior to that, we had the post monetary system, to where everything had to be done with lawful currency. But the postal system is a usury-based monetary system. And it really didn't go into full effect until they brought in the liability insurance in 1887, and then the Federal Reserve Bank in 1913, and then got everybody under the certificate of live birth, a counterfeit instrument, okay, because that is not your birthing document. That is a counterfeit. Your original birthing document is either your hospital birth certificate under a gold seal or a Bible entry that you have. Those are the only 2 valid entries for a legal birthing.
Patrick, I'm going to mute everybody out because there's an echo going on. Okay.
Yeah, I was just going to confirm that. That was somebody.
Okay.
Okay. So,
Thanks.
You have to look at, basically I'm pulling up here, what the word support means.
Out of Anderson's?
Pulling it up out of Ballantyne's to give you the definition of what that means. Because that's what they got us to do, okay? In the Pledge of Allegiance, you pledge to support and defend the country. So when you pledged, okay, you were pledging your equity over to them. You have to come in and purge yourself of that pledge or that oath. And they reiterate that constantly out here by your signing like the 1040 or the 1041 or other documents, bank notes or whatever, under the guise of penalty, under penalty of perjury. You are saying that you are standing by your original oath.
So
yes.
We're perjuring our pledge.
You are basically reassuring that pledge.
Okay.
You are reconfirming it when you say, under penalty of perjury, this is true. Okay, but you have the right to purge yourself of all oaths, all false and fraudulent oaths out here, because you made it to a counterfeit government that was set up by deception. And why are all traffic tickets and half the other crimes out here criminal? Because basically you are a criminal because you're using a counterfeit instrument. Just like Jesus said in the temple, okay, when they brought the prostitute before him, okay, it was a fraudulent contract. And he said, he who has no sin can cast the first stone. Well, they're guilty of sin in this regards too. They're counterfeiters. And that's why in putting that document that I had out there before about the overt conspiracy and counterfeiting documents up there, that was the start of this process. When you go into court, you can charge them with conspiracy to defraud and counterfeiting. Because that's what they're doing. But when you revoke all underwritings, you also revoke or purge yourself of all your indiscretions, like in the movie The Majestic was in there at the very end of the movie. You are purging yourself of those false pledges and false oaths. They got all the military people, when they enlisted, oh yeah, they were going to support and defend the country. But they got them under a false oath stating that, therefore, all of the military bounty that those military people were going to be entitled to was now handed over to the military complex.
Wow.
because of the word support. To comfort and sustain, to furnish the necessities of life for maintenance in a proper manner, not merely the necessities for a bare maintenance. You can read the rest of it, okay? But see, that's what support is all about. Tricky word, and nobody ever thought about that word support. But that's how the Rockefeller and Carnegie, who ran the public education system, brought in that damn Pledge of Allegiance. Because you are pledging allegiance to the copyrighted United States of America, 1871 copyrighted United States of America, and not the Articles of Confederation, the United States of America, all capitalized. And you'll find that in the first article of the Articles of Confederation. The style is to be the, all capital, United States of America. The whole thing is all capital. They cannot copyright that. See, that was done almost 100 years before 1871. So basically, if it's recorded somewhere, previous in a treaty especially, they cannot turn around and copyright that. If they try and do that, they are now in violation of the law. And these guys are a bunch of lawbreakers. So that affidavit, and then when you put a copy of your hospital birth certificate or your page out of your Bible entry, and basically every Bible should have, in between the Old Testament and the New Testament, a family history. Okay, for deaths, births, and marriages. That is your lineage document. Your right of claim. So you put a copy of that on the backside of your affidavit. Now that affidavit cannot be refuted. And that will tear them down. I mean, they're a bunch of vampires, okay? And basically it's like you just threw a silver bullet or a crucifix in front of them. And they just died. You brought the light upon them. So everybody should be getting that affidavit done out there and get it signed, okay? You don't take it to no notary public. You stay away from the notary publics because you go to a notary public and basically you're putting yourself into the public system. That notary public came out of England, okay? Out of the bankers to have that, and the churches to have that put upon there so that they could take and get you falsely under their controls. The churches basically all came in and basically you had a baptism in blood when you were born. That is the original baptism. This baptism by water is a counterfeit baptism. You were born innocent. But basically that water baptism basically turned around and made you a debtor. It did not remove anything. It was all a fraud. It gave the church a claim over you. So, look over that affidavit. Look over that other document, okay? And basically you can send these out and put these things on there, okay? And see, there's only one way that they could extinguish our right to our equity. And that is if they brought a foreclosure suit against us, against our equity. And as far as I know, there has been no valid foreclosure suit against our equity. I've never received one. So that means that we as the pledgor still have a right to redeem our equity from the pledgee, basically, which is the Treasury Department. Okay. Now, is there any questions on this affidavit out here? Star 6 and unmute yourself if you have any questions.
I don't have any questions, Patrick. I've gone over it 3 times now, and I need to go over it some more because each time I do see something new.
Yeah, and you need to listen to this audio so you know what I'm saying about this. Okay, why? Basically, the different oaths that basically they got you under.
Who all do you send that affidavit to?
I would send it to the Secretary of State at your birthing state, at your state you're living in, the Attorney General of the state that you're living in, the Treasury of the state, the Revenue Department, the IRS, Inspector General, the Treasurer, the Secretary of the Treasury, the Attorney General of the United States, and basically also to the Secretary Secretary of State out there. I would also send a copy to the Secret Service. The Secret Service, their number one job is not to protect the president. Their number one job is to prevent counterfeiting in this country, and that's what they were set up in 1886 for, or 1885, 1865. Okay, when they came into being, okay, was to prevent counterfeiting of the American equity. And basically, so that's their number one goal, is to prevent counterfeiting. Now, when you purge yourself of those oaths and you revoke all underwritings, you have just removed yourself from all counterfeit documents. And then if they try and get you into a counterfeit document, you can turn around and bring in the Secret Service as an enforcement and claim that they are trying to force you into a counterfeit contract. And they're counterfeiting the equity of the country.
This doesn't replace our revocation of our underwriting, does it?
This covers both of them, okay?
Oh, okay.
I
So
got
we no
both
longer
of them
need...
addressed in there, okay?
Okay, so we no longer need to send that in to underwriting.
No, basically, if you've got this affidavit, you've got both areas covered.
Okay.
Yes, to purge is to clean oneself. So you have to clean up your act.
How you doing, Patrick?
Okay.
It's Marvell. Hey, I was looking this over and I was like, man, it's kind of a dirty trick how they play that on small children's, and we all grew up as adults. And the other part was, I guess you were saying since we send this to everyone, we also send this to the AIQ.
Yeah, you can send it to everybody, okay? You can send it
Mm-hmm.
into your local sheriff, okay? You can send a copy to your county attorney.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can send it to the court, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
No, I just
basically get it
wanted
into
to
the
send
court,
the idea.
okay?
Yep. I just wanted to extend the idea. That's all.
Yeah, and see, but it wasn't the little children, okay? That was just to groom you to doing the Pledge of Allegiance.
Mm-hmm.
The key one of reciting the Pledge of Allegiance came about in most cases at the baccalaureate of your graduation from high school, because at that point in time, most everybody was 18. To be a valid pledge and a oath, it can only be done after you have reached a certain age.
That's right. That's right. Become a court willingly, or think you're willingly to become a corporate citizen. That's how we got in this mess in the first place.
No, they basically set up the corporate citizen by the certificate of live birth.
Yeah.
And then the Social Security card. But see, the Social Security card didn't go into effect. It wasn't supposed to go into effect until you turned 18. That's what it says on the card.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of us got it like maybe 3 or 4 months, 6 months after we was born. You know,
Well, some of us got it when we were 10 or 11 or 12. Okay?
Yeah. That's true. That's true. It's like when they went down there to get them.
Yeah, but basically it was only, and it can only be a 7-year contract. But see, they turn around and got you under penalties of perjury to keep reiterating that on the 1040 form.
Wow.
Yes, total fraud.
Yeah.
And it's a conspiracy to defraud the American people of their lawful assets.
Yeah. It's like pouring the gasoline on you once and you keep doing it every 7 years.
Yeah, but basically you're doing it every year. So basically it's just an ongoing process when you do the 1040 form. But if you come in there and revoke all fraudulent undersignings and purge yourself of all fraudulent equity, pledge, and oath, consents, and agreements by your right of free will, they have no claim over you.
I'll be adding this onto my paperwork and hitting all the places.
Yeah.
You know, because since I done everything else, why not?
And see, this is the separation of church and state. Okay, everybody's been looking for, where's that separation of church and state? Well, it is the state of man versus the church of the public. The dead corporate 1871 church.
Well, they were never supposed to be married in the first place. They took marriage upon themselves. That wasn't never supposed to happen, but they did it anyway.
Yeah, that basically everybody has been thinking church is a religion. Well, no, church is a belief. And basically the 14th Amendment, 1871, copyrighted United States, is a belief system of false laws and codes.
Hey, who's rattling stuff? Oh, okay.
Patrick, when I got my EIN, they wanted a 1041, so how do we avoid getting in the system then?
You don't do one.
What do I send in? Anything?
What do you want to send in? Okay?
Send in the affidavit.
Okay.
You don't owe taxes. Okay? I tried to tell people, now you understand why you don't owe taxes, because you do not have to support them when you purge yourself.
Oh, okay.
And basically you revoke all fraudulent undersignings with the Social Security card and everything, and you put your claim in using your original equity, American Equity document, which is your hospital birth certificate or your Bible entry. That's what you claim your equity, American Equity, from. Inherent equity, your inheritance.
And since I don't have either one, Bible entry or...
you basically go out and buy a Bible.
Okay.
Okay?
Uh-huh.
Try and find one that was printed prior to your birthing.
Okay.
And then you make an entry in there, putting your parents' names and everything down, and try and find out what your birth weight was.
Okay.
And put that in there, okay? Your date and time.
Okay.
You can put other vital statistics in there if you want to, like your blood type and a few other things if you want to.
Okay.
And then you scan a copy of that, and that's what you put on the back of your affidavit.
Oh, okay.
As that is your proof of claim. Now, no one in that court is going to contradict the Bible, because the Bible is what was the foundation document to set up this country or this nation.
Okay.
Now, the Bible is basically a book of just and unjust banking. Banking laws is what it is.
Okay.
It's not a religion, but it's a belief in just and unjust. But see, they've got everybody believing, oh, you got to be a Catholic, you got to be a Lutheran, you got to be a Baptist, you got to be Jehovah's Witness. These are all the religions that are going to go to heaven.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what all these nitwits think. We're going to get to heaven. No, our heaven was supposed to be here on earth, and we have to fight for our heaven. Any other comments out there? This is probably the most important document you will ever have to do. But you have to know what is going on in that document, because this is a culmination of years of studying what has been going on.
Yes, it does. It does bring together all in one place a lot of the things that you've been working on. And it really lays it out.
That Social Security card was basically a something for nothing document. You're getting a promise that may or may not be there. So if you watch that movie, 2004, whatever it was, Something for Nothing, okay, which is a remake of the movie The Devil and Daniel Webster. And The Devil and Daniel Webster was a story written in 1820. Okay? Because at that point in time, they were trying to bring in this false monetary system into this country. And that was all about the duel between Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton. That most people don't look at history and see what it is, and they misinterpretate the hell out of things. Because they really don't go out and check this stuff out. They sit around and want somebody else to tell them what the interpretation is supposed to be.
Do we send a cover letter with the affidavit to all these different departments?
You would basically, I'm sending out a fax sheet, and then I'm printing out the front page and the back page, okay, on separate pages, because you can't fax a two-sided document.
Okay.
But if you want to send it by mail, then you just turn around and you can do a letter.
Okay.
Instead of the fax. But I would always, you always basically put a cover letter stating what the situation is. And basically, I think I put a copy of the fax that I was sending out to the treasurer about this up on the site also. And basically, I used that I will be coming after them with American vengeance. Don't be afraid to put them on the spot, okay? They're the ones that are in the wrong. And even when you go to the Secret Service, you put them on the spot about this, because they're supposed to be preventing counterfeiting. And they haven't been doing too damn good of a job of it.
More like failed completely.
Yeah, I bet it was because of our indiscretion or our misunderstanding, our free will, per se, of making those pledges. And they're not going to go against our free will.
Yes, good evening, Patrick. How you doing?
Okay.
That's great. I had a quick question pertaining to the counterfeiting. I had an instance. Wow, check this out. I had an instance to where a public pretender just jumped into my case, and she basically counterfeited some documents in my docket. Now, this can be applied to the situation that I just spoke on, as far as counterfeiting and directing this to the Secret Service, because I mean, this wench just jumped in and said she was my attorney, and
yes, but until you come in and purge yourself, okay, of all these false oaths and pledges that you made, and all your revoke all undersignings, okay, you haven't cleaned up your act.
Oh yeah, I have already done that.
So basically, in that case, you are a counterfeiter too. Okay,
with a copyright in my name? No, I'm not a counterfeiter.
That's why all of these court cases out here for the 14th Amendment, United States Corporation, and see, they only have one classification of courts for the 14th Amendment postal government, and that is criminal, because everything they're dealing with is a counterfeit instrument. So everything is a criminal case. The driver's license, it's a counterfeit. The certificate of title to the vehicle is a counterfeit.
Well, I claimed all my stuff as trusted property, man. So my stuff isn't counterfeit. Everything I put in there, everything I put in my docket, my case that I claimed with a UCC financial statement and under my trust, it's not counterfeit.
Yes,
so
it
what
is.
She did,
you don't understand what I'm saying. Okay.
No, I hear you, man. I've been here listening to you for about 3 or 4 months now. I hear what you're saying.
You have to purge yourself because basically you have not purged yourself of your pledges that you made to support and defend the corporate 14th Amendment United States.
I never made a pledge like that, and if I did, I took it back and claimed it all under my trust.
Okay. Did you not say the Pledge of Allegiance in school?
I was a minor. It doesn't count.
When you got to graduation, did you graduate?
Of course.
Okay. At baccalaureate, almost everybody says the Pledge of Allegiance.
Yeah, whatever it was a minor. It doesn't count. I canceled it all out and put everything under my trust in my estate. So I hear what you're saying.
You have to do this
the question I had,
you have to do this affidavit.
Was the Secret Service and the counterfeiting that this public pretender just jumped in and filed in my docket and wrote my name down with her handwriting.
You have to make the separation of public and private here.
I already did that. I did that in the document.
No, you're not listening to me. This document, you have to do this document. If you don't do this document this way,
no, I didn't say that. I'm talking about the situation. I'm not talking about your affidavit. Your affidavit looks good.
Let Patrick finish, please.
Yeah, I thought he was done. Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm just saying that the affidavit looks great. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying the situation that I'm explaining, would it coincide with this affidavit and reporting this to the Secret Service and all the other government authorities?
Yes, you have to break their presumption, their false presumptions. Until you've broken their false presumptions, you're still guilty.
All right. I see what you're saying.
Yes. And when you do this affidavit and put that in there, now you have broken and separated yourself from the public and the private, the church and the state of man and the 14th Amendment church. And you do not use any constitution or anything like that. You can reference the bill of rights, okay, or the bills up until roughly the 13th Amendment. The 14th Amendment on, they're all counterfeit amendments. They're all frauds. See, the corporation, the civil United States, which was set up under the Constitution, can turn around and set up another corporation underneath it. They've got them all over the place. The Department of Transportation, the Department of this and that, okay? Out here. Those are all other corporations underneath the original Constitution. But we, the private, we are, and basically there's 4 levels of government out here. You got the executive, the legislative, and the judicial. But you've got the 4th one, which is the superior government out here, and that is we the people. We the people basically gave them the right to set up a charter government. So we are the superior government, not the inferior government that they try and make us be. And see, we stand by the Articles of Confederation. We stand by it. Okay? We don't stand under it, and we definitely don't stand under the Constitution. But we stand by the Articles of Confederation because that is a treaty between the people and the land. I hope this is
sounds great. I just wanted to add one more thing: is when you establish a trust, you put in your own constitution in that, and you want to bring it into the court.
Trust, okay? When you establish a trust, you're putting it under a damn attorney, or you're putting it under the state. Okay?
No, I'm putting it under myself, not nobody else.
No,
but myself.
you put it under. You put your assets. A private bank, a state. Even though it says foreign grantor trust, it's a bank.
Right.
It's an estate bank.
Right, yes.
Okay, a private estate bank. Not a trust. You never set up a trust. Okay, that's another damn English connivance out here. You never trust someone else with your assets. And basically, in a trust, you want to be the beneficiary, you've got to have a trustee. And the beneficiary can't be the trustee. Right?
Right.
Okay? So how ludicrous is that? You're giving somebody else control of your gold, and basically he can take off with it.
You can be the executive trustee and pay yourself, and let your relatives be the beneficiary.
Being a private banker.
That too, yes. I'm not saying whatever you're doing what you're doing
trust.
is really good. I'm just saying
Forget
my situation is a little
setting
different.
up any trust. Okay? All that trust law is bullshit law.
Well, before I start listening to you, that's what I've been studying, and that's what I explained to Tom too. Is I bought a lot of books on trust and been studying for the past 2-3 years. So what you're doing is like you're trying to tell me to undo what I've been studying for the past 3 years. What I felt that's correct. And
it won't undo it completely.
I'm trying to blend the two. Because
Well,
You
don't
study something for 3
plans.
years. Tell me what you undo it.
Yeah, but basically, in some cases, you have to throw the shit out. When the shit stinks, you get rid of it.
That's true. But you're talking about a foreign grantor's trust here, so it's like you're still blending it.
It's not
so
a
it's like,
trust.
You know,
it's
a
only
foreign
a
grantor's trust.
term.
Okay. Still using the word trust. Right.
Yeah, they just put the word trust in there, but it's not really a trust. It's a bank. You go downtown and you drive around, and what does it say? Bank and trust.
Yeah, a lot of those.
Yeah, and you are a private banker.
Right.
So you have a private estate, and you can throw all the fancy words up there you want to, but do not set it up as a trust.
So a lawyer's trust.
And you do not do a UCC, okay? We've done those in the past, okay?
Yeah,
so all those UCCs are basically in their world.
Well,
the usage of notary publics out here puts you right back into the public world. You do your own signing. You have your right hand, your left hand, and basically your spirit or your brain out here, and all three of them to work.
Yeah, I feel that.
Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. Basically the story of the prodigal son. The one son stayed home. The prodigal son went out there, and basically that's what your runaway item out here is, the fictional person, and then the master of the household was there, and he welcomed back the prodigal son. The Bible has all the stories in there if you know how to interpret and read them. But it's all about banking, using just exchangement and unjust exchangement.
Yeah.
So I was going to go down to my bank and open up an account for the foreign grantor trust, and I was expecting the problem they're going to ask me for trust documents. I was just going to tell them that's the name of it, but the EIN number should be sufficient for you.
Have you got a Direct Express debit card?
Yes.
Okay. Now I'm going to switch deals here, and I'm going to go into the 1099 OID.
Okay.
Okay. But
I'm muting out. Thanks, Pat.
First off, is there more questions about the affidavit? Star 6 if you have a question.
I have a question for you.
Okay.
Does this affidavit change the need for the EIN and the foreign grantor trust EIN?
No, you're still going to need that.
Okay.
You should get an estate EIN, okay? And then you should also have a foreign grantor trust, because that is now going to be your EIN for your bank.
Okay.
For your clerk of the court and everything else. And it's a private EIN because it's in Philadelphia.
I tried calling and getting that, and they made it very clear that they don't give those out over the phone anymore.
Well, then do what they tell you to do, okay?
Okay. Well, they said to send
But
or fax.
basically, just tell them, hey, tell them you want to talk to their supervisor.
Yeah, it was a supervisor that was telling me this.
Well, then say, evidently, you, in your capacity, you don't know. I want to talk to your director. Okay? Keep going up the line until basically you get to the right person. If nothing else, go to the IRS commissioner.
Okay.
You can also go to the deputy commissioner international there in Philadelphia.
Okay.
Do we have to have a foreign address for that?
No. You already have one. Okay? Your address in the real world, when you put care of, basically you are a mobile person, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you have no real permanent address, but you can get your mail delivered at a certain place and pick it up there. But you are foreign to the corporate 14th Amendment location, which is Washington, D.C.
Okay.
Yeah, see, you got to know where the jurisdiction lies and how you are foreign. You are foreign to the government. You're in the private. They're in the public.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, on the EIN number, I was planning to go to the IRS department and ask to get an EIN number for my grantor's trust. And you say if they give you any guff to say you want to see the supervisor or go up the chain, because that would be my number for my banker.
Yes, all employees have to have an EIN, right?
Yeah, if you're going to be the grantor's trust, it's the EIN number, but you said it's also a banker's number too.
Yes, it's your foreign grantor trust bank. Put the word bank behind that foreign grantor trust.
Okay.
And trust and bank.
Okay, and the number would be that. It's about 10 digits, I suppose.
It's 9 digits. All EINs are 9 digits.
Gotcha. And that would be my identification for my bank.
That would be your identification for your for the president of the bank, the executive officer of the bank, and also your cashier or your clerk of your bank.
Got it. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. It's just a matter of going down Monday morning and asking for that and see what kind of feedback.
Well, you're not going to probably get Monday morning because Monday's a holiday.
It's
President's Day, okay?
Tuesday. Okay. And hopefully I can get one. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay, now like I explained last week on the 1099 OIDs, you can only go back after what you have paid out of your back pocket or your fictional person has transferred out of his pocket. Okay? Like on a traffic ticket. Basically, when you sign that, I don't know if most states have this, but appearance bond. So when you sign that, you were transferring out of your fictional person's account a bond, an appearance bond, for so much. If you paid off that traffic ticket out of your back pocket, you can OID that. You can OID the appearance bond. Okay? So you put a claim in using the OID, and you send this to Austin, Texas. And I think I put up the address for that up on the site there before in one of the documents. You have to do a 1096 form. Now, you also do turn around and do either, if you have an estate EIN or a foreign grantor trust EIN, you will use a 1041 voucher. And on that 1041 voucher, you're going to make the payment a negative payment. And then you're going to do a bill of exchange made out payable to the United States Treasury, and it's going to be a negative amount in writing, and also the number is going to be negative. I would put both of those in red on that bill of exchange.
Mm-hmm.
And you state that this is per the attached 1099 OID. So you are giving them a negative payment. Now they have to turn around and give you the positive credit.
And that's by way of a 1041V, correct?
That's by the way of a 1041V and a bill of exchange.
Written out there.
Now, you can take the bill of exchange that I have out there and modify it appropriately.
But the bill of exchange is not going to be written as a negative. That's going to be in positive form, correct?
No, it's going to be negative.
Okay.
You're exchanging a negative value. Okay? To straighten out the books, you give them a negative so that you basically now their books show too much out there. They have too much positive. So now the positive has to come to you so that their book's zero at the end of the day.
All right, Patrick. Patrick.
Yeah.
And this.
All right, I want to ask you something. I know that you got this 1099 OID, and I'm looking at it. What does where the part where it says billing machine number, and then you have -0098. All right, is that billing machine number those first what? Let's see, what number is that?
That is for the cash register. Okay.
Excuse me.
That is for the postal service. Okay. That account number down at the bottom is the cash register, the store number, and the cash register.
Okay.
Okay. On that example of the 1099 OID.
All right, and you have that on the end of it 0098 on one, and then you have 0099 on the other.
Yes, that they have two cash registers at the post office that I operate out of.
Oh, okay.
That's why one is for $500 and the other one is for $2,555.15.
All right. Now you mentioned about that the express card.
And basically on the bill of exchange, okay, you would basically put on there that you're going to have the confirmation sent to you, and then if you have a Direct Express or a Treasury Direct card, you would basically tell the Treasury to deposit that into those cards as a debit. Credit. They're putting credit in there so that you can debit it out.
Okay.
Yeah, that way you don't have to worry about the checks or anything. Otherwise, if you don't have that, you can either get the check or you can basically modify that bill of exchange and have it put into your commercial.
All right, now this is what I'm trying to figure out with the Treasury Express system. Do you do the 1099 OID on that as well?
No.
Okay. All right.
You basically put in this item. Now, if you're getting Social Security, yeah, you would put a 1099 OID in against that.
Okay, and where
you're going to shut down the damn Social Security when you put this affidavit in and try and order them to shut that damn thing down because you don't want any more counterfeit instruments out here.
Yeah.
You want access to your real equity. Claim. And then I also, on the bill of exchange, I moved the countersigning onto the back of that bill of exchange. And then basically they can put their stamps or whatever down below that. That way it looks just like a check at the bank. You endorse it, so our countersigning is basically our endorsement of that bill of exchange, and then the bank can put their medallions or whatever, or the Treasury can put their items onto it as they close the thing out. And they have 3 days to process this because this is an American international banking transaction. So I've got that in red, both on the front and back of that bill of the bill exchange that I've modified out here that I'm sending in with these OIDs. Now you've got until roughly the end of the month to get the OIDs in for all your receipts for last year. Okay, so you take all your receipts that you have and put that in. Claim that back because that was out of your back pocket. And it was really supposed to be coming out of the Treasury because we're supposed to be the indemnified out here or the secured party. And we're supposed to be able to keep our real assets in our back pocket. But that's the game that they're trying to play. They're trying to get the shit out of our back pocket so that they can control us.
So before we execute these instruments, we need to have that affidavit in, correct?
I would have it, and basically I would send it into that Austin office, too, when you send your package in, along with your 56F. And basically, if you have anything on any of these documents to where it says under penalty of perjury, you line that out and initial and date it. And that is a valid removal when you line it out, one line, and initial and date.
The red pen?
No, it doesn't make any difference. Blue, I think, is more preference.
You send all this to Austin, right? 1099 OID and the 56F.
Yeah, all your 1099 OIDs go to Austin. In fact, all of your 1099A, Bs, and Cs go to Austin.
Okay.
To the international office or the foreign office that is addressed on the 1096 form. Now, if you don't have the OIDs that are carbon copied, go ahead and use the one that's on the website. Print it out and send that in. Print that out and fill it out and send that to, along with the state tax. Yeah, you have to send 2 copies to the recipient, okay? One is their copy, and the other is a copy for them to file with their state for state taxes, and they may or may not have to do that. Now, also on the 1099 OID, if you have so much taxes, sales taxes on there, you can put that down as a withholding by the state, by the foreign state. Okay, see, they've taken that away from you also. And then there is normally in all states that have sales tax a claim form that you can go back.
Do we lose him?
There, Patrick? Sounds like you dropped. Oh, let me see if I
yeah, we lost him.
Get to.
Hello?
Yes?
This is Kevin. How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
I'm trying to find out where you get the affidavit that Patrick was speaking of. On what file is it in there?
American Bank.
It's in the latest directory, American Confederation Bank, and it's called PAB Counter Affidavit.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's the one you send it to the IRS. Okay. I see it.
Sending it everywhere.
Oh, you're sending it everywhere. Okay.
Well, anybody who thinks they have any power over you, sock it to them.
Let's say if you considered having a job and you filing a wage return, you just send it. You do it on a 1099 OID.
I'm not understanding the question.
I'm saying if I pay tax out of my back pocket for my wages, so-called wages anyway. And,
yes, I believe so. I believe anything you pay out of your pocket, you can get back with an OID.
Okay.
Even though it was taken from you before it actually went into your pocket.
Yes. Yeah. Just like utility bills. Utility bills are the same thing. Yeah. Sam's Club, any major interstate operation is actually accessing the Treasury. Now, from what I understand, it's actually accessing the Treasury in general, but since we are all shareholders, they are also accessing from us because it's passed on to us. The access is passed on to us.
So you don't really actually have to pay it out of your back pocket and make a claim on it.
Anything interstate, Sam's Club, Target, Dollar General, gas, utilities, hospitals, lawyers.
Okay.
I wonder if someone could help me.
Taxes,
what?
Auto tax, car tax, regular tax, house tax, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So you would have to. This is Kevin again. So you would do a 1041 voucher and use your foreign grantor's trust EIN number when you're doing your 1099 OID, and then you do a bill of exchange on top of that as well.
That's the way I understand what he's just saying. Yes.
He will have examples of those. He'll probably put them up tomorrow. I was in the process of downloading them. There's 3 examples, but he wasn't online, so I didn't completely download them. So that'll make it more clear. Hello?
Pat?
Yeah.
Is this Pat? Okay.
It is.
Back?
Yes?
Get with Norge. She's got
okay.
them.
Oh, good.
Yeah, either Norge or Sheba. Okay.
Okay. I have a question.
Yeah.
I sent in a 1099 OID last week for my mortgage, and that probably won't hit with the holiday, maybe Tuesday-ish. Will I be able to amend that with the bill of exchange and the negative 1041?
Yes. You just put a correction in.
Okay, and it'll catch up with the other?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So you can.
There's on the top. It's marked as a correction, right? There's a box on top where you mark it as a correction.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
I interrupted. Go ahead.
Okay, so now you can do a 1099 on your credit cards or your bills you pay, like your PG&E and all those things for 2013.
Yes.
And you put it on there. Now, my question is, when you do this, do you use your? And it says the payer identification number. They use the 9-digit zip code. Do you use their 9-digit zip code as well? Whoever sent you the presentment.
That's what I'm using.
Okay.
Okay, that's their delivery depository. Okay.
Yeah, that's it.
And I would put it down either to the place to where they send the bill from, or the corporate headquarters.
Okay.
To the CFO.
That's the copy they get.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, you do the 1099-C for cancellation of the debt on that credit card. Okay?
Right.
But you have to take the bill that they send you and see, that's a bill of exchange.
Right.
The bill that they send you, and you do a countersigning on the back of it.
Right. You send it into Austin.
No, you send that back to them.
Well, they get a copy of attachment B, but for the first red attachment goes to Austin. Cancellation of 1099-C.
You only send the red copy of the 1099-C to Austin. They don't
Right,
have
that's
any
what I'm
other
saying.
Documentation. Okay.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying you all the documentations you send a copy of the 1099-C attachment B. You send that back to the person that sent you a presentment.
Right, along with the bill of exchange that has been countersigned.
Okay. Now, do you send when you send a red copy to the IRS, you don't send no attachments to that?
No, just the 1096 and the 1099-C.
Okay, I didn't know that. Now I know.
See, you're basically identifying that you forgave a debt to them.
Okay.
Okay. Now, they have to go in and turn around and claim the withholding tax that's there at the Treasury.
Right.
And then they have to pay the taxes upon that. Now, not you.
Right. Right. Because we
don't owe any taxes, okay?
Corporation owns the tax.
Yes, the corporations are the ones that owe the taxes. And basically they're the ones that are the counterfeiters, and basically they're the ones that are operating in a conspiracy to defraud us from our lawful inheritance and our labor.
Okay.
They're the vampires out here that basically Wesley Snipes kept trying to kill off. Using silver bullets and stuff.
Now, when you do your 1099 OID and you said for them to reissue the funds within a 3-day process, proof of lending, where does it? I don't see no place where you put your.
You're not going to see that document. Okay, you're going to have to modify it. Okay.
Okay.
I only sent this document out to a few people right now. Okay.
Okay.
For the most part, most everybody else ought to start learning how to make out their own damn forms. I'm not going to be around here to make up the forms for everybody for a lifetime.
Okay, well, I have no problem with creating my own document. I was just wondering, because I didn't see it on the web, so it's not a problem. I can modify things. I appreciate.
Okay. Yeah, but you need to definitely get that affidavit in.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna send an affidavit in. I'm gonna send a certified mail tomorrow. That in now, the American County affidavit. I'm gonna put that in tomorrow.
You can send it by fax. Okay, you don't need to send it by certified mail. Okay.
By fax.
Yeah, if you got fax capability, that's the best way to go, because basically on that one document that I had up there, and basically this was passed in electronic transmission shall mean the delivery of information by electronic mail, facsimile, or other electronic format acceptable per the law. And the law was passed in the mid-1990s.
Yeah, okay. I just got to get the fax number. That's all. I'll look and find the fax number.
Yeah, and then basically an electronic transmission shall be considered a written notice for all purposes hereof.
Right. I can understand that, but I'm just saying I'm gonna find the fax number to Austin, Texas, for the IRS.
You should find them in the documents. A lot of our documents have the fax numbers to just about every place we fax to.
Okay. Well, I'm looking in the file now. As soon as I get to typing up this affidavit county affidavit, I'm gonna look through the file, look for and I'll find it. If it's in there, I'll find out the number.
Or talk it over at the group. Ask somebody, do you have the fax number for this on the group site? Start working as a group.
Yeah.
Okay?
We'll do, Patrick. We'll do.
Okay.
Hey, Patrick?
Yeah.
Okay, some of us are slowly getting this. We're not as advanced as a lot of people here, but, we are coming up on tax season. So how would you suggest going about that? Meaning, if you're a W-2 employee, you're working on getting your EIN, your foreign grant or trust, doing all this. Don't know if I really could get it done in time for April 15th. So
you put an OID in against them.
Okay.
And basically, you do not do a 1040 or 1041. Okay? Because on the 1040 or 1041, you're going to have to sign under penalty of perjury.
So you can do the OID with a 1041
voucher. Okay, the 1041V, and send it off to Austin, Texas, to the foreign address.
Okay.
Yeah, and claim that back. They are withholding your assets. Okay? And basically,
so you would do that as a total, as whole, or
they're withholding your labor. You have the right to claim that back for an original OID.
So for each entity, we would do a separate OID for both state, federal, and local.
Right.
Okay.
But you primarily go after the employer.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, he's the one that basically withheld that from you. Okay, and then if the state, if he handed it over to the state, then basically you would do one against the state. But he's going to have to do that. Okay, he's got to get that back.
Okay. You can go back.
There is no statute of limitation upon fraud, okay? But sometimes it's best to leave sleeping dogs lie. Okay?
You can do 3 years at least, isn't it?
You go back. There is no statute of limitation on taxes and fraud.
Okay.
It's just how much time you want to put into this, and basically the best thing is to get the hell out of it and let them go and clean up the books. They're the public servants.
That's the best way to do it.
Right.
Any questions? Any more questions?
Yeah, this is Steve. Hi, Pat.
Hi, Steve.
On the American counter affidavit, the last one you just did, the Rev 3, in the first sentence you said the above identified named individual. Isn't it an individual, a person that runs a corporation? I don't know if that's a good word to use.
Well, you were born individually, weren't you?
That's the living.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, but I mean, you weren't born with somebody else. You were born individually.
Yeah.
That's a natural
Yeah,
word.
I just thought maybe that was a trick word that they like to trap you with.
No. You
No,
can
okay.
basically counteract that if they try and do that. That basically there's so much other stuff in here that they ain't even going to touch that.
Right.
You can use the word natural person or you can use the word individual. Those two represent living.
Yeah, and the other question I had was when you write a negative amount for the bill of exchange or the OID, the negative amount, you just put a minus in front of the number, like right after your $sign or something.
Well,
Or
you put a negative and then you put the $sign. Okay, that's for the number. And then when you write it out, you put in all capital negative and then write out the amount.
Okay.
Okay.
All capital letters, negative, right? I got you.
Yeah.
The $sign would be with one line in it, right?
Yeah. It doesn't make any difference. Basically, they've already got that covered out here. And usage of the $sign is also with the one line is valid in the monetary system. I've got that document somewhere. I just ran across that the other day. So don't worry about the two lines or any of that other stuff.
My understanding is that you never do a negative amount on the 1099 OID. Is that correct?
No, you don't do it on the OID itself, okay? You do it on the voucher.
Okay.
See, the voucher says you're making a payment to the United States Treasury. You have to make a money order or a check or whatever made payable to the United States Treasury. So we're going to give them a bill of exchange, which is a check, okay? A check is nothing but a bill of exchange. Okay, so we're giving them our private bill of exchange, our private check. And it's going to be a negative value. But on the OID, it's a positive value. So now when we put a negative into them, now the positive is standing by itself. because they have to zero the books.
Right. The OID shows how much we've paid in. The voucher and the money order both are saying, in a roundabout way, by using the negative, this is how much you owe us. You owe me.
Yes.
Okay.
So you're basing the balance in the books.
Yeah. And they have to balance the books at the end of 3 days.
Yeah, it makes sense. Looks good. So
do you
the
also,
other documents. Go ahead.
Do you also use this when you go into the bank with the bill of exchange? Do you use the 1041 as well?
You mean just depositing?
No.
Okay.
You're using our voucher.
Okay.
Our private voucher.
Okay, but we, even though we use our private voucher, do we go with the negative? What I'm saying.
No, we shouldn't have to.
Oh, okay.
Bank can handle that part.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you get them to do anything in your state.
No, they've got to adjust the books appropriately. But I would try and stay away from the banks as much as possible and just go to the Treasury.
That might be a good idea.
Yeah.
You see Treasury Department coming to see you anyway.
Hey, Patrick, when you do a countersigning on a, like, say, tax statement, do we go to the private side of the IRS to send that in, or do we send that to Treasury?
What was that again?
You're countersigning a tax statement that you got, and you send it back to them. Do you want to send that back to the private side of the IRS, or do you want to go straight to Treasury?
What's the countersigning for?
Your tax bill, IRS, statement.
You send it back to the IRS.
Okay.
You get a bill from the utility company. You do a countersigning on the back of it. You send it back to the utility company.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Just send it
You don't
right
send
back
that to the IRS. Okay. But you do a 1099-C to cancel the debt. Now you've identified it to the IRS that basically they have that much money. Now they have to do an offset for that much money, as basically that was that bill was for the services rendered.
Okay.
Then they don't have to pay taxes on it.
Okay, so you can send that right back to them. You don't have to go to a special submissions place or anything like that.
No.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, you're the private banker. You're the master. Start acting like the master. So many people in this country act like chicken shits. Scared little puppies. Whimper. Yeah, when you have this affidavit, they can't come after you, okay? Because basically they're the ones that are operating the fraud. And you've just identified it.
Well, they won't come challenge you with that anyway because they know they are, so you won't have to worry about that.
Yeah, they won't touch this because basically if they try and do that, you take them to a civil court, okay? And then you can bring treason charges against them known as conspiracy to defraud and counterfeiting. And both of those are treason against America, the sovereigns and the land.
I don't think they want to do that.
Oh, no.
In fact, they want to get as far away from you as they can.
Yeah, because you can put them in jail and take all their, you would be able to come after them both in their civil office and basically take out their bond of liability, and then also go after their private estate.
And not only that, for every bill that they ever sent you, you can make them replace it. Replace whatever you did.
Yeah.
With them.
I think I got that all addressed in that affidavit. That we will take this into an American civil court action, either under a federal court or the United States Court of International Trade. And see, the Court of International Trade only deals in civil actions. They do not deal in criminal actions. But treason is a civil action in the American courts, in the Article 3 American Civil Courts. And the charges and penalties of counterfeiting and conspiracy to defraud would be enforced against the counterfeit public state and the public corporation officials holders in both their civil and private capacities. Read the document and understand that affidavit before you even think about sending it out. You have to be able to defend what you put your signature on.
Right.
Now, I was looking at a file you had back from 2010, December of 2010, called, I don't know if you remember, but it was titled Learn the ABCs and Get Your CAP. And I was looking at it.
Throw that away and just concentrate on what I got up here right now. This, basically now we've pulled it all together. Yeah, I was touching on some of that stuff back in 2008, 2009, 10, 11, 12, but now we pulled it all together into this simplicity item here.
Yeah, I see how you pulled from that document the negative 1040V with the voucher part. So I was just curious as to whether or not you got into looking at the 1099 CAP with the Form 88.
The only ones that I'm going to look at are the 1099 ABCs because that's what we were told to learn. And then the 1099 OID is the recovery so that we don't have to do a 1040 or 1041 tax form. We're getting our taxes back using the OIDs.
The OID is a banking instrument.
Yeah, and basically that's what we are doing. And see, all of these tax forms are the 1099 or the 1040 and the 1041 tax forms are public banking forms.
And they're not sending you anything.
Yeah, and so we're in the private, so we're just going to do the OID and claim our assets back, our withholdings back that they withheld from us on that. We'll send them in a negative voucher and a bill of exchange.
That's right. But they're not going to send anything on that 1041 form.
Yeah, we don't need to file a 1040 or 1041 or a 1020 or whatever the hell those other forms are, but they keep trying to get us in. Those are all public forms. We're in the private. We're doing a separation of church and state, or private and public.
In the instructions for the 1041 form, it says if you are a foreign grantor, you do not have to do a 1041. What they want from you is like a letter outlining the...
You sent them this affidavit.
Yes. What I'm doing is reinforcing what you're saying because they already said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. The instructions plainly state that.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I didn't know how damn close I was back in 2010 when I got my 98 series number and my estate EIN. But now I know how to pull them all together and put them in to work against these guys. But we had to find out how we gave up our equity, and it was by a pledge or oath. And see, when a man went into the service, he gave an oath to support and defend the country. Basically, at that point in time, he allowed them his military bounty. And that's why all these military people out here have to go begging to the VA to get anything out of it. And then the VA basically deprives them of that under fraud.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Yeah, they use it for their corporation, for their doctors and their quack doctors and whatever else, okay? Their education, the colleges, are all getting a benefit, a rip-off, and the bankers too. Student loan programs out here. Basically, they're again, the damn thing, the education is paid for out of our estate. But you have to basically purge yourself of the fraudulent pledges that you made so that you can get access to your lawful equity and bring out the silver and kill them off. You need to get your silver bullets out of the treasury and start killing off some of these vampires. Bloodsuckers.
Right about that.
Okay, any other questions on some of this stuff? If not, I'll bring them up tomorrow night and we'll cover them then, okay?
Okay, Patrick. Let's just some quick ones. Let's think them over and come back at it. Thank you very much, Patrick.
Okay.
Thank you again.
All right.
Okay, we'll talk to you guys later. Listen to this tape several times, okay?
Okay.
There's some heavy stuff here, okay?
All right.
All right. Okay.
Bye now.
Good night. Bye. Bye-bye.